I understand that you are quite the anchor of the group, no?
In a manner of speaking, I suppose so, yes.
Yet this morning you look rather disheveled.
Bad dreams.
Bad dreams. Actual dreams, or he gestures at Blair, those sorts of nightmares.
More of a personal sort.
Personal. You all seem to have personal things happening, which every mortal inevitably does. As the anchor of the group, let me ask, do you ever put aside your own dreams and interests for theirs? Does it happen often?
I suppose I'm beginning to realize that that is indeed what I have been doing. And I've done so under the faith that whatever plan Redane has will eventually lead me to where I need to be. Now that he isn't here and the instructions he left, I'm at a crossroads, and I have a choice to make.
Following this meeting with out of Blair, where will you go? Which road will you take?
I know which road he wants me to take, but I have more people to consider than only myself. So honestly, I do not know.
As a scale of warden, wherein does your oath lie? Your duty. Is it one of the heart? One of the mind? Where?
The heart.
The heart. And that is why this morning you are so disheveled. Your heart weighs you down so.
Yes. I feel like I have put myself in a position where I have to choose between love and loyalty.
Let us expound on it then. You do not need to tell me a decision, but let us look into it. The methodology. How do you decide for yourself? No exterior person. Which one you will be going down?
If it's only my own volition, my own motivation, and there is no choice. I know where I want to go. To her. As fast as I can, as soon as I can.
But
But I care about more than myself.
you care about more than yourself, but as we discussed shortly ago, the concern that you're putting away your own wants and desires for theirs. He gestures at everyone behind you. Too far, too much, too often. You're at the crossroads now, you said.
Yes.
When, where do you draw the line?
That is what I've been trying to figure out all night, staring up at the storm.
Ah,
Somehow
yes.
it feels.
Go on.
It's interesting to see the kind of turmoil you feel internally reflected in front of you on such a grand scale, especially when there seems to be intent behind it.
Intent. Like your intent yesterday to fly into the sky and be struck by lightning and jump into a storm and then fall back down to the earth. Like that.
Yes, like that.
Allow me to speak candidly. Why, in the true God's name, did you decide to do that?
Honestly, impulse. I felt like I had to. And I think that feeling stems in this inner turmoil that I feel. I do not know what I want to. No, that's incorrect. I know what I want, but I don't know if I can live with the choices that I would have to make if I pursue what I want.
Well, you might have good company, he gestures at Silas. How often does it happen? Surely not as often as at the backseat. Impulses that you have to follow through upon. Warned or not.
Before?
Ah. You keep count.
I mean, that's what set me off on this journey in the first place. Don't know if you know the song. I heard, I talked about it.
Blair has mentioned it. You were all rather ready to tell her your adventures thus far in full detail. And then I am well aware that we are in a meeting discussing her recruitment. I'm well aware. But are you always, he gestures at all of you, and then gestures directly at you, so you are so forthcoming with your information about yourself. There are many a devious, felled creature and a mortal that would take your stories and turn them against you.
This is true, but I have always felt that trust is earned when it is given.
And what if they betray the trust?
Then you burn that bridge after it's been crossed.
So you are like the cat, willing to see what happens.
Yes.
Yeah, there are worse. They are all connected to you. Anchored you are. Speak truthfully. When you discuss loyalty, you discuss it to the Grand Hoyle River Company, but let us talk the fine fibers of rapport. Are there favorites, disfavorites perhaps, amongst them?
Verdane comes first. Easy.
There's a certain irony to that here today.
Indeed. He and I... He is my brother in ways that... If there was no river company, I'd still follow him. I'd still listen to whatever it is that he dreams, and I would want him to pursue his dream.
Do you not feel a little bit betrayed, though? Him leaving in the dead of night, taking a pack of wolves and a horse.
No, I'm sure he has a reason. And I trust in that reason, whatever it might be.
That is of an end. What about the rest of them assembled here today?
Silas is like a child that has not yet learned to fear the flames. That's why they're constantly drawn to it.
Do you say that as a sibling or as a parent? Those are two very different perspectives.
Sometimes the role of the elder sibling overlaps with that of the parent.
I won't say who it is, but there is a captain in this room that would likely agree with you.
Fair. In the beginning, I did not trust Silas's curiosity. I did not fully trust them. But I have come to realize that I do trust Silas. I count on them getting into trouble, but I also count on them knowing that they can come to me for help when they need it. with the certainty that I will provide help should they ask for it.
A trust extended. And reciprocate.
Indeed.
The others?
Deet, I do not know Deet as well as I would like. I know that there are things in her past that weighs on her. I know that she has her reasons, perhaps withholding certain information. Given what happened to her brother, though, it is at the very least my hope that she feels safe enough to come to us, talk to us, open up. Everybody has their own speed, their own pace, a time for everything. When the time comes, if Deet wants me to listen, I will.
Go on.
Anushka, she is a voice of reason, a reminder to perhaps not follow all of our impulses all the time. I appreciate that. It makes my
Life
being the
easier.
anchor a little bit easier. Exactly. I know that she is hiding things. I understand that, like Deed, she has things in her past that perhaps literally weigh on her. I trust that if it were to put the rest of us in jeopardy, she would say something. I trust that when the time comes for her, if it does come, that she would tell us what it is and how we can help. There are very few people in this world that I trust with a rifle behind my back. Anushka is one of them.
What of the other gun in your group?
I'm more of a recent encounter. I sense a lot of similarities in myself when I look at Captain Alexander, but also fundamental differences. I see that he values loyalty, and I see that he comes from an environment within which loyalty is paramount and expected, although perhaps of a different kind, more militaristic, more structured. I could see what he would bring to us as a company. A solid structure, a voice of reason, a steady hand, a helping hand. But he is private, as are most people in the beginning of a friendship. But he is, in no small way, as far as I can see it, he is fully, same as we all are, of the River Company. He has a place here, he has chosen it, it's his. Other than that, I am hoping to build further trust and better understand him in the future as we go forward.
You sound similar to Mr. Radin when you say, I plan to build trust.
Friendship isn't built in a day.
You'd be surprised.
It
What
can
else?
be.
Take your time.
I think that the person that I have the least in common with in the whole company is Oriana. We are polar opposites in many respects.
Elaborate.
She comes from a very structured background. I come from a rather chaotic one. She has a very scholastic methodology to her fighting technique. Mine was beaten into me in a different regard. Less do this, counter that, more you either duck or you get the stick. So I suppose a more organic attitude.
There's more to you two than your fighting styles, though.
Absolutely. I at least like to think that I am open with my emotions, my feelings, for the most part. And I am more than eager to offer a word of advice, lend an ear, share something of myself, if I think that it will be helpful, or if it can bring some semblance of peace or closure. Oriana is the type of person to keep the cards very close to their chest and only play them when they absolutely have to. I prefer an open game with cards on the table.
Mm-hmm. Are you a gambling man, Mr. Sujar?
No.
Not at all. That is fair. There are gamblers in your group. Do you abhor the practices of gambling?
No. Can't say that I do. A reckless gamble, maybe a little bit.
What of other reckless practices?
That would be calling the pot be calling the kettle black, and I would make a hypocrite out of myself, so no.
Very well. You may return to your seat, Mr. Sushar, and designate the next person. The count is dwindling.
Alexander, your turn.
Oh, so soon? Very well. Kind of redundantly, as he's walking up, he gestures to the seat. May I?
Of course.
Too kind, too kind.
Captain Alexander.
Just Alexander will do, please.
It is only courteous to respect one another's title and position.
Of course.
I detect hesitation on your behalf, Alexander.
I suspect you will dig into that post-haste.
Let us start now. Why?
I've taken a leave of absence from the Silver Sword.
To join on the River Company, presumptively.
Naturally. One cannot be a part of a paramilitaristic force while also being a part of this merry band of adventurers. The two would clash.
Indeed they would. What brought about the decision?
They assisted me with the personal matter of taking down the heirs of Pristiek. I'm doing right by them by assisting them with another matter.
A man of your position, stature, lineage could assist in a number of different ways, going potentially even so far as allocate the company of others to assist them on the matter. Why not?
I'm sorry, forgive me. You mean to say that I could have the Silver Swan assist them?
Correct.
My father may own the company, but that does not give me a lot of way when it comes to allocating resources. I am, after all, only a captain.
I see. I see.
Perhaps I could put a good word in for him, but at this juncture that does not seem sound.
sound. Do you consider yourself sound, Captain? Physically and mentally?
I am at the peak of my performance.
Even after an extended stay in the cradle?
I'm at the peak of my performance.
Whatever you wish to tell yourself, Alessandro. He looks at the
I
rest
had-
of you. Remember what I discussed prior about putting things in the back of your mind?
I rested on my laurels for a long time. I was able to get back into shape, as it were, my time at the cradle. When the River Company crossed my path, I had a small limp which Sajar has graciously seen to, and now I am perfectly healthy.
Given the departure of Mr. Redane and your previous aptitude and portfolio as a captain, would you be taking some stead of charge of the
I will
River
not be
Company?
I will not be so presumptuous as to claim such a position, but I suppose that'll be a discussion for another time. After all, Mr. Redane's absence has only been noted this morning. We did have this meeting to get to.
From a former captain like yourself to another captain, he gestures at Blair. If she were to join on with the group, would you give her charge? Would you request she give you charge? What would happen?
He looks off to his right and studies Blair for a moment.
I do not think she would be given the position of captain in your corps without the aptitude for it. I think she would be very capable, but at the same time, she is currently not privy to the inner machinations of the River Company, nor am I, to be certain. But I have a better idea, I would wager. But at the end of the day, it is not for me nor herself to decide.
So you would acquiesce to the general approval of the party.
If I desired it, I would certainly make my case, but this is not the Silver Swan. This is not a proper military company. They are adventurers. They decide who they. I cannot make that decision for them.
I see. But you can make decisions for yourself. That, of course, is true for any mortal.
Indeed.
Sometimes our decisions do not follow through. Plans set forth are not executed. I believe you had a meeting with Lord Assazalea Soiron that you did not manage to attend, but followed through upon at a later point in the evening, yes? What happened?
I'm sorry, Lord Seeker. I understand this is supposed to be questioning, but I did not think we were going to gossip.
He doesn't answer, he just stares at you waiting.
I was conducting an investigation, but you already knew that.
Yes, an investigation for Benji. Assisting Oriana in her affiliation for the young boy, which I know you share such affiliation. Why is that?
He's
I
a
ask
good
you the same
child.
question. I ask you to Miss Oriana. There are many children, orphaned, impoverished, capable, not capable, crippled, well-bodied, here in Dubros. Why that boy?
I'm not so idealistic to think that I can help every orphan. But Benji in question and his sister have crossed my path. He is a charming young man, and I suppose that since we do not have any prior engagements, that I could assist in the matter. Of course, we did end up going over time, and I had to renege on my meeting with Lord Soiron. But we are not leaving Duvros. Well, at least not today.
He looks over his shoulder, right?
I don't know.
You're not so idealistic to help every child. Benji is one that you discussed the reasoning thereof. What of the boy in the slums? The one who lost his harmonica?
You know even about that. Well, I suppose you did see Silas climbing up into that,
Yourself as well, a very capable demonstration of your dexterity.
Yeah, I suppose I am a bit of a climber. You have to be in the field, you know. But you know that. You're a captain. You're the Lord Seeker. Yes, I did help the boy with the harmonica. I had given him coin at an earlier date to purchase his own. Or, I suppose I gave it to his instructor, which I suppose he did follow through. I like the harmonica, Lord Seeker. It is a fine instrument, though some people find it grating on the ears, you know.
Does it not concern a military man such as yourself? Instruments in the field.
How do you mean?
Playing a song at camp might draw the attention of many a creature lurking nearby.
Perhaps, but it also raises the morale of the soldiers, gives them the will to fight, keep going, stops them from deserting. You need to allow for recreation in the field, not in the field, in camp.
But what if some troops share that concern? That their fellow soldier is playing a song, and perhaps duly so an ambush occurs.
This is the weight of command, Lord Seeker, I'm sure you understand. Not every decision you make, not everything you allow is going to be looked on fondly by your superiors or your subordinates. It's all about balancing those concerns.
Then take the scenario I've posited on you. How would you balance it?
The scenario of people playing instruments in camp.
He gestured on you. Take the river company. We have a bard in your midst. Silas is playing a rather loud tune on their bagpipes. Oriana being a Scholasta member, a military person herself. Toes confides in you that Silas should perhaps stop their playing, lest it bring trouble in the night, seen or unseen.
Ah, I see. You wish to see if I would take a military approach to a non-military organization, if you could even call it that. Were this the Silver Swan, I would enforce a curfew. After it gets to a certain point in the evening, once visibility gets limited, then you would enforce a certain quiet across the camp. But at the same time, you still need to have fires going, lest people freeze in their sleep. You will not always be undetectable in camp. Sure, perhaps you can limit noise, but light and chatter is a constant. That is why positioning in a camp is important. Ergo, in future situations, if myself and the River Company are camping, we will find a perfectly secluded spot, one with enough cover, and if Oriana over there thinks that sounds being too loud with their instruments, then, well, I wouldn't really give orders, but would probably suggest that maybe they stop. That's a satisfactory answer for you.
Alexander, there
Lord
are no
Seeker.
satisfactory answers during this meeting. Only yours.
Well, that is my answer.
Excellent. Allow me to get your answers on two more topics. One which is a bit more recent, the other is a bit more abstract. Let us start with the recent one. Justice.
By all means.
Lieutenant Juseda. I have it on good record that you and Miss Oriana were the ones that were part of his interrogation.
She was a great help.
Similar to what I asked earlier. Did you get satisfaction from it? Putting a proper criminal, a framing one at that, to the proper end.
You say it is greed and hubris, or his own downfall. Having the opportunity to facilitate that downfall was... It did bring me some modicum of joy. Especially learning that he was a member of several different mercenary companies prior to joining House Treyarch's personal guard.
Yes, what is that term? Rebounders or something of the such.
A rebounder or joiner is the one I'm more familiar with.
Ah,
Jumping
Got
from mercenary company to mercenary company, all to see how much coin you can get out of the endeavor. Though, given his crime, I do wonder how many of those past mercenary companies' downfall was his own doing.
a saboteur meeting his proper end then.
I would say so.
You described yourself as facilitating his own downfall, one of his own making, onset by his greed. Do you consider yourself a tool or the tinkerer?
He steeples his fingers as he leans back in his chair. I would say I've been a tool for most of my time with the Silver Swan, but given that that is now over, I would like to see myself holding the tool for once.
So I can have it on record that your answer is to be determined.
We'll say so at this juncture.
Fair. Let us move to the second topic I want to inquire if you get your thorough answer.
Very well.
Faith. Are you a pious man, Alexander?
As of late, absolutely.
As of late.
When... Well, I don't need to explain to you that you see a lot of very unfortunate and trying things in the line of duty. Turn to the gods. It helps those moments fit better into your mind.
Would you suffer for it? Your faith. I do not mean in a manner similar to Shubin, but perhaps not too far off. Would you take an unseen trial by the true gods to prove your faith?
He thinks on that a moment. Sometimes I think I already have. So, yes, I would.
Then continuing on with that, the gods' influence, fell or true. Do you believe, would you advocate rather, for their subtleties? Or would you prefer a more direct hand? He makes a fist.
I think that direct meddling of the gods only complicates things, no matter the situation. The more subtle their approach, the more agency feels like we mortals have, wouldn't you say?
It certainly would seem that way, yes. Is that what you'd be okay with? The seeming nature of it, even if it were untrue.
Faith and ignorance go hand in hand, Lord Seeker. And ignorance is bliss.
I understand Lord Treherne is yet to decide Benji's fate.
Correct.
I can imagine the injection of Miss Ariana, but you yourself are a nobleman. Your understanding of the true weight of the crime What would you tell him?
So far, for all the evidence, the only thing that Benji has intended to steal was knowledge, and he did so for the betterment of himself and his sister. In the end, it would not have cost Lord Treyan anything. Were it not for the meddling of Juseda, the book would have never gone missing, and Lord Treyan would perhaps not even know a crime had taken place. I think all in all, the boy is innocent. He is young. He is misguided and wants nothing but a better life. Many of us can relate.
So you would conject the boy is innocent because he would not have been caught otherwise.
I will not say that. The boy did break into the Lord's office. He did open a diary, a Lord's journal, and read its contents. These are all crimes. Of that he is guilty. And perhaps in the eyes of the justice, that is enough. That said, I'm perfectly fine working outside the confines of the Twinsian laws for the sake of morality. In this case, I think to convict the boy of anything would be immoral, and so I would speak on his behalf. Because I am not Twinsian. Noble or not.
Very well. Then, before I excuse you, one last thing. Shubin. We had already brought him up before.
Indeed.
I believe you had a, different outcome planned for the recovering cultist.
I got him into position behind the door. I intended to shoot him through it. Dead. Oriana was quicker. A door, I have no problem shooting through. Ms. Oriana, that is a different story.
Do you believe the actions of your party members to be unilateral? Ill-advised?
I believe Oriana acted on behalf of Anushka, for Anushka did not want Shubin to die. I think Oriana did not wish to upset Anushka. Whether or not she believes Shubin should be alive, Oriana, that is, I do not know. But I am intimately aware of Anushka's thoughts on the matter. Do I think she is ill-advised? Absolutely. I think on this topic she is very optimistic, perhaps a bit of an idealist. But the conversation we had on the way here, in which she brought up the topic of adding Shubin to our retinue, she was quite easily persuaded to think otherwise.
You would add the madman to your retinue?
Absolutely not.
The fact that the topic was broached says its own things. If it were shut down so quickly.
The things he said to and there, some of which she did share, they are interesting, thought-provoking. But at the end of the day, he's a madman and a cultist, and his word should not be taken at face value.
I see. You may return to the seat, Alexander. And I suppose you really only have limited choice now for who is next.
You mean I don't get to choose kebab?
A hound's present with their master is their own testimony.
I suppose it is. Thank you, Lord Seeker.
Just pick someone.
Guess not indeed.
Miss Deet, please approach.
I don't know why the character's not sitting on.
Hold Alt. They allow you to not be auto-locked to a grid.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Let us speak on the most prominent matter for yourself, as confessed by your fellow party members, that you seem to keep a lot of secrets. Skeletons in the closet. Perhaps that is a case of you not trusting them yet. Perhaps it is a case of you not being able to say it. But let us discuss such now. Do you not find it concerning that your party members do not know as much as they probably should about your past, your background, your secrets?
Yes, I understand their concerns. To be fair, I thought I was getting better, opening up with people, but I could see that I still